And the chair is prepared now to report.
Mr. Chairman.
A reporting quorum being present. The question is on reporting the report favorably to the House. All in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. A roll call vote has been requested, and the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Conyers?
Aye.
Mr. Conyers votes aye. Mr. Berman? Mr. Berman votes aye. Mr. Boucher? Mr. Boucher votes aye. Mr. Nadler? Mr. Nadler votes aye. Mr. Scott? Mr. Scott votes aye. Mr. Watt? Mr. Watt votes aye.
Someone else call the vote. Andrea. Call the vote.
Mr. Watt? Ms. Lofgren? Ms. Lofgren votes aye. Ms. Jackson-Lee? Ms. Jackson-Lee votes aye. Ms. Waters? Ms. Waters votes aye. Mr. Delahunt? Mr. Delahunt votes aye. Mr. Wexler? Ms. Sanchez? Ms. Sanchez votes aye. Mr. Cohen? Mr. Cohen votes aye. Mr. Johnson? Mr. Johnson votes aye. Ms. Sutton? Ms. Sutton votes aye. Mr. Gutierrez? Mr. Gutierrez votes aye. Mr. Sherman? Mr. Sherman votes aye. Ms. Baldwin? Ms. Baldwin votes aye. Mr. Wiener? Mr. Wiener votes aye. Mr. Schiff? Mr. Schiff votes aye. Mr. Davis? Mr. Davis votes aye. Ms. Wasserman-Schultz? Ms. Wasserman-Schultz votes aye. Mr. Ellison? Mr. Ellison votes aye. Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith votes no. Mr. Sensenbrenner? Mr. Sensenbrenner votes no. Mr. Coble? Mr. Coble votes no. Mr. Gallagly? Mr. Gallagly votes no. Mr. Goodlatte? Mr. Goodlatte votes no. Mr. Shabbat? Mr. Shabbat votes no. Mr. Lundgren? Mr. Lundgren votes no. Mr. Cannon? Mr. Cannon votes no. Mr. Keller? Mr. Keller votes no. Mr. Issa? Mr. Issa votes no. Mr. Pence? Mr. Pence votes no. Mr. Forbes? Mr. Forbes votes no. Mr. King? Mr. King votes no. Mr. Feeney? Mr. Franks? Mr. Franks votes no. Mr. Gomert? Mr. Gomert votes no. Mr. Jordan? Mr. Jordan votes no.
Have all members voted? Yes. Mr. Feeney?
Mr. Feeney votes no.
Any other members? Clerk will report.
You have 22 in ayes and 17 nays.
The report is agreed to without objections. The staff is